Now to two members of the independent commission set up by the state of Missouri to look into the events in Ferguson. Starsky Wilson chairs the commission and is pastor of St. John's Church in St. Louis, and Kevin Allbrand is a police detective in St. Louis and president of the Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Tonight he's in San Diego. Reverend Wilson, that was just scraping the surface of the findings in that Department of Justice report. What surprised you the most about what you read?
Quite frankly, while the report was disheartening, the overall findings were not surprising. We knew, based on the testimony that we have heard from people not only in the streets but through our commission's work over the first 100 days, that people experienced racialized policing, that they believed in their truth, that this was driven by profit. We now see the evidence of that. The things that surprised me, quite frankly, were the kind of salacious narrative, the fact that we have an email from the finance director of the city directly to the chief of police suggesting that revenues be raised through direct policing practices. These are the kinds of things that should never be in the public administration of justice, quite frankly, and they're the kinds of things that undermine the trust and governance that we need for the project of inclusive democracy to work.
Kevin Allbrand, what struck you, especially this part about policing for profit that Reverend Wilson just brought up, what struck you the most about that report?
Well, and basically that, the whole municipal court system, we've known for a long time that it's been a problem. We have never condoned ticket quotas. We're vehemently opposed to them. We're supporting a bill that's currently making its way through the Missouri legislature, which would reduce the percentage that cities could use fees and fines for their budget, and we've always been opposed to that. Part of the big problem is the police officer has to write X number of tickets. That's time that he can't be out there in the community doing community-oriented policing, and that's what we've gotten away from, and I think really that's what we need to get back to.
Reverend Wilson, are you disappointed that Darren Wilson was not charged with a civil rights violation?
Quite frankly, I recognize that that's a difficult hurdle to climb. To prove intent, to prove someone's mindset, we've always known what's going to be significant or difficult for the Justice Department to do. So I'm not necessarily surprised by that either. Quite frankly, what concerns me is the connection between these 2 points. If we recall, one of the things we see in the report is that some 90+% of those who are stopped for walking in the street in Ferguson are African American. This whole incident with Darren Wilson and Michael Brown began because of someone stopping someone in the middle of the street. So when we think about the culture that's created in the police department and we connect it to the incidents of that particular day, then we see how the leadership and culture needs to be reformed, and that is what concerns me more than anything else.